Do it your way, big boy. We're back. It's episode 3 of What's the Go. Hi, Monsi.
Hey, mate, how you doing?
All right, now listen, everybody. We're in a bit of a different room. There's some birds around. If you can hear birds, just fucking deal with it. All right?
Yeah, they asked for a fee to appear, but we refused, but they appeared anyway.
Yeah, that's called a walk-on. Anything interesting from your life going on, Monty, that's worth telling anybody?
Yeah, actually, and in a sports-related way too. Today is Sunday was the anniversary of my first in 24 years soccer Division 13 grand final win. This time last year, we were celebrating winning the grand final for the first time in 23 years.
So it's a 1-year anniversary of your grand final win. The other numbers threw me off. I didn't know what was going on there.
I had that thing where I thought about what I was going to say too quickly and then couldn't get the words together that worked with what I was thinking.
Okay, so 1 year ago you won a grand final for club football.
For the first time in 23 years, yes.
Well done.
Thank you. Division 13, lofty heights.
All right, well, you know what? Let's talk about some sport that's happened.
I thought we just did, but mine happened a year ago, I suppose.
Yeah, not particularly news. Actually, before we start, you had a little LeBron James thing you were telling me about before.
Yeah, look, I don't know. It's something I've posited myself. LeBron James is playing in the NBA Finals right now. I think he's only missed one finals in the last 16 or so. And he has a thing when he goes into the finals where he gets off social media. He goes completely dark and he says it really helps him. He calls it 0 Dark 30, which I think he doesn't know what 0 Dark 30 means. I think it refers to a time.
But also, why is he given a break from social media a name at all?
And how did he let anyone know about it, I suppose?
I'm just trying to imagine the conversation. Okay, hey, LeBron, I've noticed that you've been off social media for a while. Well, I'm trying to think of a term for that. What would you call that?
I call it 0 Dark 30. That's my LeBron voice, by the way. I call it 0 Dark 30. I'm LeBron James.
Okay, why do you call it 0 Dark 30?
I don't know. I don't think I know what...
Do you like the film or something?
I must, yeah. I'm a big Sarah Bigelow fan. Sarah Bigelow? Is that her name?
Fact check. No, it is Catherine Bigelow you were thinking of, you peanut.
Or was that maybe she directed Hurt Locker? Did she direct both of them?
I doubt it.
Thank you.
Okay. No, sorry, LeBron, just asking. So 0 Dark 30, I think it refers to a time, half past 12.
I believe it. I thought it was not 12:30. I thought it was the American version of Sparrow's fart.
You're American, so shouldn't you be saying our version?
Yeah, I'm still LeBron. I think it's our version of very early in the morning. Actually, I don't know. I'm LeBron James. I don't know how to use it correctly.
Calm down.
Sorry. I got a little carried away there. It's playoffs time. I get a bit carried away occasionally. I don't apparently know how to use it. But that being said, what I was trying to get across here in this weird mumbled up thing is he is on social media this year during the finals for the first time.
Yeah.
Because of social kind of things going on in America. He's staying on and saying...
How are people reading this? What are they saying?
On their phones? What do you mean?
Well, do they think that there's going to be some sort of big change in his form, talents, abilities? Perhaps. Because he hasn't had his little social refresh.
Exactly. He is. He has a character called Playoff LeBron, and I don't know if he's going to be able to be Playoff LeBron this time.
Oh, okay.
I mean, I'm going to be able to be Playoff LeBron this time.
Bayern Munich have won the longest ever Champions League, beating PSG 1-0 in Lisbon.
Sure have. Congrats, Bayern. I'm happy for him.
Zoo v Horn, big boxing match coming up this week.
Baby Zoo.
Lots of trash talk going on too.
Who was it? I think Jeff Fennick was calling Horn's trainer some kind of colourful language today.
Oh, okay.
Always love when he weighs in.
Are you censoring yourself or you can't remember?
Can't remember.
Okay, good. Joey Johns labels the West Tigers pathetic this week. Why West particularly?
I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's because we were pathetic on the weekend.
I reckon you could throw that at half a dozen teams.
Yeah, you sure could. Sure bloody could. I mean, the game following our game was Manly looking pretty pathetic. So, yeah.
The Knights-Cowboys game was one of the dullest I've seen in a long time.
Very dull football, wasn't it? On another point, the Swans scored only 10 points in a whole game. That's pretty pathetic. I don't know if Joey Johns crosses codes, but if he does, that's pretty pathetic. And if we're judging by this measure too, PSG didn't score any goals in the Champions League final.
Well, what we're calling for then is, I don't know, it might be a newspaper column, and every week John's just lists off a bunch of teams across different codes in different countries that are pathetic.
Pathetic. Well,
you just a list, the pathetic list this week.
Love it.
And then just club names. There you go. AFL set to lose 20% of its staff. That's big news.
Does that mean each team has to get rid of one player or something like that? Playing with one less. Who was that? Someone was suggesting that we play with more players during the season?
No,
less. Yeah, well, there we go. Yeah. It's coming into fruition.
I didn't know it was going to be... I thought it was going to be kind of a...
Staff? No.
Entertainment decision rather than a business decision.
No. Business. Can't afford to pay one player per team.
Some other things I noticed this week, Monty.
Yeah.
Right?
Go on.
Bitter old Warnie.
Yeah.
He's got this feud with Steve Waugh, right? It's ever since, I want to say...
The Sydney Test when Steve Waugh retired?
No. Earlier, 1999,
Wow.
I'm pretty sure, when he got left out of a test match against the Windies.
Okay. Yeah. And he just holds that grudge.
Apparently, no one's got the right to not select Warnie ever in his whole career. Look, Warnie's Warnie. We all know Warnie, and we all know, of course, he wouldn't have taken that calmly on the chin. However, it's a couple of decades later, I'm still regularly seeing Warnie in the media bagging out Steve Waugh.
Is it possible he's only back in the media to promote his new fragrance that's advertised everywhere?
Yes, but how does bagging Steve Waugh equate to sales of your bottles of your...
Well, we're talking about it, so maybe we're like, oh, yeah, Warnie, need a new fragrance.
But are Cologne fans famously anti-Steve Waugh? Like,
Absolutely.
Is that going to get them fired up to buy?
Well, what we're waiting on now is a rival Steve Waugh cologne to come out, I suppose.
Right. Okay.
I would much prefer a Steve Waugh cologne than a Warnie one.
Well, yeah, something along the lines of...
It'd smell like leather and wood, I feel, with Steve Waugh.
No, I reckon it'd be like... You know how you kind of get cheap supermarket colognes and so on, and the scent is ice?
Oh, yeah.
Or cold or something
black
like that.
ice. Yeah, black ice. You hang it in your car.
So, because he's the ice man, it's got to be something along the... I don't know what ice smells like.
No one does, but except these people who make the things. Black ice smells like vanilla, I think.
Well, that makes little sense.
Very little.
But anyway, Warnie's... this time around, Warnie said that he's brought up the old 2001 test, Eden Gardens versus India.
Yep.
Where Steve Waugh infamously decided to follow on after Aussies had got India out for very little in the first innings, their first innings.
How good is it that it's not even just generic, I'm still pissed off with Steve Waugh? It's like this very specific thing.
Yeah, but here's the problem. Like, maybe the interviewer or wherever this came out, he was getting interviewed or whatever, maybe they...
At a Cologne get-together, I assume.
In Cologne, preferably.
Oh, nice.
Warnie has a German connection. He was going to go play cricket for Germany.
Get out. What? I'm unfamiliar with this. Give me the rundown on this.
A grandparent. No, he was going to go play for England.
Okay.
And not England, but a county. The reason he could and not be classed an international player is because he had a German grandparent. And everyone was happily in the EU at that time. So,
okay, I see.
If you're a German, you're automatically a Brit.
Axis powers. Yeah, Axis cricket. Sure.
Well, you know what? I think Warnie being German says a bit.
Makes sense, doesn't it? The hair colour.
Yeah. The obsession with certain things, not being able to let anything go.
Yep.
Sorry, German listeners. But, there are times when you could have let some things go and you didn't.
Guys, yeah.
Yeah, what I was saying was, I don't understand why this came up.
Well, he was getting interviewed for his cologne.
Let's assume he was.
Yeah, and someone said,
And
what about Eden Gardens?
Someone said, what was it? Maybe they said, what was your most annoying defeat or something like that?
Oh, it was that dawn of Steve Waugh, and he's kind of...
And he kind of...
gone off.
Yeah, there was a chance. But, yeah, obviously that's the game where Dravid got a big double ton.
Rahul.
And VVS Lakshman.
Very, very special.
Yeah.
Is that what VVS stands for? I think it is. Very, very special.
Is that racist?
No, more ignorant, I would think.
Well, racism comes from ignorance, let's be honest, Monty.
Yeah, it's a bit of a chicken-egg scenario, I think.
But, yeah, look, our advice, honestly, Warnie, is to just let some things go. You're a very wealthy, very loved? Is Warnie loved?
Infamous.
Yeah, I know, but I was going to say infamous. I was going to say famous.
What is the loved? I think he's loved. He's a larrikin. He's a loved larrikin.
Yeah, I suppose. Yeah. He wouldn't have gone on I'm a Celebrity, get me out of here if people didn't love him.
No, maybe he would have, but...
No, but I mean, they wouldn't have wanted him on there.
Can I suggest something as to why he might have done this? I've just had an idea.
Go on.
Recently,
he was thinking of Eden Gahar and then made think of Eden Gardens.
Nice. Our one Eden Gahar reference per episode. That's good. No, I was thinking recently this documentary, The Last Dance, has been rather popular.
Yeah.
And a lot of it was based around Jordan never really giving up on any of his beefs with anyone.
Right.
And so I was thinking maybe Warnie's like, well, that's pretty good too. I should remember some of my old beefs, bring it up again so people, remember that he wore number 23 too, didn't he? He was like trying to be Jordan. He was the Jordan of cricket.
He did.
Left to play basketball for a year.
But I just want Warnie to let things go.
Have we heard from Steve?
No, Steve
doesn't care.
Well, he has responded. He's responded maybe 2 criticisms ago from Warnie.
Oh, yeah.
But, if Steve's going to respond every time Warnie comes out, like, he's going to need a few press agents.
He's got to just release his own cologne.
He's going to need a media officer. Yeah. He's going to need Google alerts.
Speaking of well, this isn't a falling out because it's been happening. Is there something going on with the Woodies?
Yeah, the Woodies don't...
They don't talk no more?
No.
Why?
It's so funny, the Woodies don't talk anymore. I don't know.
Yeah,
that's something between the Woodies. I don't think they're not Warnie. They're not going to come out and air their grievances.
What if it would have come out that it's because of varying views on the Eden Gardens decision?
He should have followed on. No, he shouldn't have followed on. His bowlers were tired.
I assume that's what's got the Woodies hating each other.
Kasperowitz was the only bowler that stuck his hand up and said, yes, I'm keen to follow on. And so you know why?
Why would you decide that Kasperowitz saying that's the way to go?
Because he would get more overs than he might normally because
everyone else is buggered.
Your McGraths, etc. had already
could barely walk. Yeah.
Bowled the lion's share of overs. Like, come on. Who's listening to Kasperowitz?
No one anymore. No one then. Well, Steve Waugh once.
And look what happened.
Yeah, well, bad things, right?
Yeah. All right, but Warnie, let it go. Like, you're rich.
Is he rich? He must be rich, right?
Used to make love to Elizabeth Hurley.
Yeah.
Why are you worried about bloody Steve Waugh? Let the man live.
Yeah, poor Steve Waugh.
Let him go to his son's games and sledge opposition fielders when they come downfield near him.
I've heard about him at his son's games. Yeah. He's always pushing the follow-on. He's always, follow on. Out of curiosity, are Steve and Mark still talking? We got no problems there, do we?
No, I don't know if they ever talked, though.
Wow.
But that's not...
What about, there's a third war, isn't there? Gummo War?
Yeah, no, there's 4 wars.
4 wars? Yeah. Phil War is one of them, right?
No, there's Dean.
Dean War.
And, I don't know, Zeppo.
Yeah, Zeppo or Gummo War. Yeah, one of those. Yeah.
No, but I'm not saying that Steve and Mark, it's not... They didn't talk because there was any feud there. They just didn't talk.
Just didn't talk to each other. Well, one's in the slips, one's at the other end.
Also, I don't think twins need to talk. I think they
They just
understand.
ESP it.
Yeah,
ESPN.
know what's going on.
Maybe this is all just a play, and Warne and War are setting up for a RSL tour of Australia, discussing their past history of cricket and getting over their beef together on stage.
Oh, right. Do you mean like the Wild Colonial Boys
Exactly
tour?
what I was thinking about.
Who was, if I remember correctly, Mark Jacko Jackson,
Jacko, yep, Chopper.
Chopper, and Roger
It
Rogerson.
was the Dodger, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
And they,
Now, where are all of those three now? Dead, Jail, and Jacko still Jacko?
where is, yeah, well, I don't
Write
know.
in, people at home. If you've seen Jacko recently, let us know.
What's happened to Jacko? There's a clip of him from I'm hoping it's the late 80s, but it might even be the early 90s. I'm just trying to distance it
Yeah.
from now. Where Ernie Sigley, on the Ernie Sigley show, they let Mark Jacko Jackson loose in King's Cross
Oh, great.
on a Saturday night.
Oh, I think I remember this. Go on. Yeah.
Yeah, he's off his chops. You can see
Yeah.
that. And he's just going around.
Does he talk to a prosy or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's talking to everyone he finds, including Japanese tourists, and giving them some of the
a bit of the flapper-dicky kind of A material.
speaking some of their language back to them, that kind of gear. So, look, that's well worth looking up. We might put that on the socials.
Please.
Or
maybe not.
Or maybe I won't.
Yeah. Yeah, wow. I would like to know where Jacko is these days, though. Is he still alive?
He must be.
We would have known if he died.
He's the ever-ready man. He's never going to run out of juice.
And Dodger's in jail for life?
Now, I'll just pause you right there. I thought that was a decent joke, and you
The
look
ever-ready
like
man. No,
a...
that
you
was
look
good.
like
That
a...
was- he's ready. That
I
was
may
fun.
as well have just said, Gump.
Gump's good, too.
Yeah.
No, the ever-ready. That's good. Battery joke. People love a battery joke.
All right. Let's leave that and mention briefly, Seabold's gone.
Yes.
Seabold.
Nice.
Yummity. Yeah, so, finally, he's been told he's not coaching next year. Now it's just a question of...
No, but wait a second. Sorry.
Sorry, excuse me.
I don't think he's been told you're not coaching next year. He's been told, we really don't want you to coach next year. If you decide to, we have to let you stay. But here's some money. Take it and leave.
Do you know that for trues?
Well, I believe that's what... I was there until about... We're recording this just for posterity's sake on a afternoon. And the news of that came out about an hour ago.
Oh, okay.
Before that... all I knew was that he'd been offered money to leave. But I was under the impression that he had 3 years or 4 years left on his contract, and thus they couldn't get rid of him unless they paid him out.
Yeah. Which is equal to 3.2 million, I understand. Which you can understand the Broncos.
What he was left? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
But they offered him $1 million to leave?
Yeah. So why would you?
Well, if you figured you could get another job that'll earn you at least 2.8 over the next 3-4 years...
I don't think he thinks he's getting another NRL gig, that's for sure.
Go coach,
Well, it's not for sure.
What about Wigan or something like that, or Hull?
Well, you could, but you don't...
Are there only 2 teams in England?
that you're aware of,
Yeah.
yes. But he's not going to bring in that coin over there doing that.
Oh, he'd be getting paid in the British sterling, which...
So the question really is, what will he do? Who's the...
Is that the question? That's not the question. No one cares what Seabold will do they?
Well, no. Is he going to leave immediately, or is he going to stubbornly hang on? Okay, apologies for that short pause there. You probably heard on the recording that there was a big car accident out the front, so we had to go and gawk at that.
Everyone's fine by the look of it.
Yep, but it wasn't like we weren't going to get our gawk on.
Oh, mate, rubbernecking.
Yeah. Where were we?
Seabold.
Yeah, I was asking, what's he going to do? Is he either going to quit immediately or stubbornly coach on till the end of the year?
So
what's to be achieved if he decides to coach on? Like, what's the, what would he hope to get out of that if that's what he chooses? And also, as a side note to this whole thing of will he, won't he coach, is these social media rumours that he's hired detectives to get to the source of who started it all. And, I reckon for the last 6 to 7 days, I've read a story every day saying that he's 24 hours away from knowing who his tormentors are.
Really?
Yeah. So that's, 6 days ago he was 24 hours, and then 5 days ago he was 24 hours away, and 4.
Well, then it's obviously just has to wait for the right 24 hours.
Yeah, right. 24 hours away, but we're not going to say which 24
Yeah,
hours.
exactly. I had a fun sport to tell you about, Stu.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a sport I've been into for a while. I started playing fantasy of this sport. It sounds a bit weird when you say it like that.
Right.
When I had nothing else to play and I played this. Are you familiar with the sport kabaddi?
No. Tell me about kabaddi.
Kabaddi is a subcontinental game. It's kind of like a full contact version of tips with some weird extra twists in there.
Tips with twists?
Tips with twists.
Yeah.
So the first... It's a team sport.
Okay. Yeah.
There are two sides of a field. The field looks almost like a handball court at a primary school kind of vibe, right?
Yeah. How many per side, sorry?
Let's look. I'm going to just go to the books because I'm not quite sure enough here, but we'll get the... Okay, I'll read you the rundown, then we can go from there. But there's some interesting bits. So, kabaddi is a contact team sport played between two teams of 7 players each. The objective of the game is for a single player on offense, referred to as a raider, to run into the opposing team's half of the court, tag out as many of their defenders as possible, and return to their own half of the court, all without being tackled by the defenders. The next bit is the most fun bit. And in a single breath.
Right.
Now, how do you prove to other people that you're not taking breaths? You repeatedly say kabaddi. So you say kabaddi, 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 kabaddi.
Why is breathing in the rules? Also, can I point out, before you tell me that...
I don't know that. Why is offside a rule in soccer? What do you mean? Why are we asking about why rules are?
Breathing seems a weird thing to want to regulate inside rules. But hang on, but just think about that for a second. While you're thinking about that, can I point out that we have been hearing sirens in the background?
Yeah, it might be worth going and have a look again.
Everyone appeared okay when we went and looked.
Surely even you'd still get like a cop showing up maybe or something?
Yeah, but wouldn't they just do the sirens if someone was hurt?
I don't know.
Our kind of gawking from your front patio didn't really fill us in too much, did it?
You want to go for another gawk?
I don't know what it's going to achieve. Unless we walk over there and say, what's happening here?
What's going on, mate?
What's the go?
Nice. Yeah. Take the mic with us. Interview a few people at the scene.
Seabold. Should you stay or go? Yeah, so breathing.
Yeah, you got to say kabaddi. So breathing. You got to say kabaddi repeatedly so the other team know that you're not taking a breath.
Right.
I've tried quite often to say kabaddi repeatedly while breathing in. Can't do it.
Fitness levels would have to be pretty high because I'd probably struggle to do that without any activity associated with it.
I think it's a pretty minimal, quick kind of hit sport.
Right.
You run in, you get your kabaddi out of the way and you go.
Okay.
I'd love to be able to show this over a podcast too, but you can't see it. But so the guy runs in and he has to tip the other people, but they all lock hands and try and encircle the dude so he can't leave. It's really interesting. They all lock hands and kind of try and gather around him.
That's good teamwork though, isn't it?
I think so. That's good kabaddi. Kabaddi.
All right. What else can you tell me about kabaddi?
I don't know. Let's have a look. Let's see if we got some stats and stuff. I wonder if there are any great kabaddi players. Points are scored, tagged by the raider, while the opposing team earns a point for stopping the raider. Players are taken out of the game if they are tagged or tackled, but are brought back in for each point scored by their team from a tag or tackle.
Right.
That's confusing, isn't it? There's an International Kabaddi Federation, the IKF.
Corrupt, are they?
I assume. It also has some other names. One of them's quite nice. It's Cowdy, Picada, Hardudu, Bavatic.
Hang on, what are we talking about here?
These are nicknames for the game.
Oh, right.
And another one that I quite like, Hututu. Hututu. Hututu.
Well, what's wrong with kabaddi? How many nicknames do you need?
Ooh, it was a demonstration sport at the Olympics in 1930 and 6.
Look, we can't go on any international tours for any sport.
Well, you thinking an Australian kabaddi team touring the subcontinent?
Well, okay.
Eden Gardens.
No,
Follow on in kabaddi.
no, I'm thinking, okay, Big Bash in Australia.
Big kabaddi.
It peaked, and then it's in the decline, right? Because
no
they
one
got
liked-
too greedy, scheduled too many games, stuck some on Foxtel. Now people are over it, right?
Yep.
This is where kabaddi can come in as the big summer sport.
What about this? When was the last time a new sport was invented? Why are people not trying to come up with new sports?
That's a bloody good question.
Right? Like, it's like, oh, we need to do this. We need a sport on this channel. Why don't we do this on Friday night? Just make up a sport.
Basketball?
Kabaddi sounds made up. Like, do something along those lines.
No, what was kabaddi? Did you tell me? I may have missed
Ancient times, mate.
Right.
Like, it's not a new sport. It's long time.
Okay. Well, it's all marketing repackaging it. You just kind of change a rule. Maybe, you can breathe.
Do you think you have to... No, it takes away from the whole game. Then it's just weird tackle tips. I think the breath is the thing that sets it aside.
We're rambling now, which
Yeah.
tells me that we're probably done.
Yeah, and as always, I'm going to ask you for your favourite funny player name of the week.
Oh, okay.
I just came up with that.
Who's the fucking baseball player with the really rude name?
Yeah, I've got a nice little anecdote.
Okay, hang on. Not
Baseball player with a really rude name?
Yeah.
Albert Pujols? Is that who you're talking about? Pujols?
Oh, I'm going to quote The Late Show. Heike Dreschler. Jeez, that's a good sounding name.
I was at my father's house the other day, and I don't remember what had come up in conversation, but someone said, who knows a South African name? And from the peanut gallery somewhere in the other part of the house, my youngest brother, 9 years old, just yells, "Faf de cock!" And we just all broke out laughing because it was quite funny.
Faf de Cock.
Yeah, it was like, I don't know that's a person, but it does sound like a South African name.
I think that's an amalgamation
of a few people.
Of Faf du Plessis
Duplessis and
Quinton de Kock.
Yeah, both great names.
It's close enough to Faf de Cock for a young person
There
to enjoy. So let's finish off this episode. I've just had a look at 25 funniest names in baseball history.
All right, good. Can I? Yeah, all right, great. I'm loving this. Okay, so can I see if I can get any on there?
If you like, have you got some?
Yogi Berra.
All right, I haven't. I'm going to look through this list one by one, so that I can amuse myself rather than
all right.
just trying to host.
Well, then
a podcast.
let you do it, and then we'll discuss from there.
Okay, and you can tell me after whether you knew
Please,
it, and that would be entertaining for people listening.
Knew it.
Number 1, Urban Shocker.
That's a good name. Urban Shock sounds like a sex move.
Yeah, born Urbain Jacques Shocker.
That's even better.
He spent 13 seasons in the league playing for New York Yankees and St. Louis Browns. So somewhere along the
St. Louis Browns.
Yeah.
Your left fielder there's been dead 103 years. Mordecai Three Finger Brown. Go on.
Johnny Dickshot.
Dick Shot's good. That's great.
Okay, so all right, he's grown. He's having the name Johnny Dickshot can make growing up hard, but when you're given the nickname Ugly,
Dick Shot.
yeah,
That's funny.
why do you need a nickname? Surely
Yeah,
Dickshot's doing the work for you.
Dick Shot's great.
Yeah, Chicken Wolf.
That's his name, Chicken Wolf.
Yeah, Beer.
Just single name beer.
Yeah, as it turns, I'll read this copy here. As it
Ronaldo
turns out, little is known about beer. Not that beer, we all know that beer. But apparently in 1910, a player by the name of Beer played 10 games for the Lancaster Lanks in the Ohio State League. Lancaster Lanks?
Love that.
All right, Cal McClish.
Cal McClish.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not that funny.
No. Shouldn't these get better as the list goes on?
Or are you going from one backwards? Is it one of those shit internet
I'm just
lists?
reading from the top of the article down.
I'm enjoying this, though.
Cocoa Crisp.
Yeah, I know my boy Coco Crisp. I think he was good at stealing bases, and I always thought he sounded like cereal.
Well, yeah.
Coco Crisp.
Yeah, for sure.
It's a cereal.
Oil Can Boyd. They're just chucking people's nicknames in here now.
Yeah.
That's not...
Unless his given name is a Will Can.
No, it's Dennis Ray Boyd. And he called himself Oil Can, but that doesn't qualify for getting on a list.
Isn't. No, that's because that's just a nickname.
Dick Pole.
That's funny.
Yeah. Dickie Thon.
A lot of dick stuff in here, isn't there?
Razor Shines.
That's better.
I don't mind that.
We have an AFL umpire called Razor, don't we? Razor Ray Chamberlain.
That might be a nickname.
I think it is.
Razor Shines saw limited action as a player in the league with limited duty as a first baseman for the Montreal Expos.
The Expos. That's one of my favourite teams. Like, they're gone now. I believe they came the Washington Redskins. Not Redskins. Sorry, yeah, no, we don't say that. I believe they came the Washington Nationals. I think weirdly a team moved from Canada down to Washington.
Well, that makes sense.
I think. I could be wrong.
He has surfaced since, however, most recently as a coach with the Mets.
Oh, Dick Shine. Dick Shine?
No, that's Razor Shine.
Razor Shine.
Yeah.
We'll hear more about Dick Shine later.
Dick Shine never made it into the coaching ranks. Tim Spoonie Barger.
That's funny.
That's pretty good.
That's good. That's my favourite so far, I think. Spoonie Barger.
Yeah.
Hard to yell out. Oh, Daryl Strawberry's got to be in this, right? Daryl Strawberry's a funny name.
Yeah, but...
No, it's not really when you think about it.
It's doesn't kind of... I wouldn't stand Strawberry up next to Spoonie Barger.
No, Spoonie Barger's funny.
Yeah. Wonderful Mons.
That's good. Is his first name Wonderful?
Yeah. I don't doubt that many parents out there think their children are wonderful, but Atlanta Braves outfielder Wonderful Mons must have had some excited parents after his birth. His full name is Wonderful Terrific Mons.
That's pretty cool.
Boof Bonser.
Boof Bonser? That sounds like a rugby league player.
Yeah. Dick Padden. That's no good.
No.
Ed Head.
Ed Head's good.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
What about Ed Med? Do you remember Ed Med?
I do. It's Steve Edmed.
Steve Edmed.
Why didn't they call him Ed?
Ed Med.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
Shooty Babbitt.
Ned Edmed would have been good too. Shooty Babbitt.
Yeah.
That sounds like a term for a medical condition you have. I've got a shooty Babbitt. My Babbitt gets a bit shooty.
In one of the shortest careers of players on this list, Shooty Babbitt's only season with the Oakland Athletics was 1981.
Oh, Shooty Babbitt.
He appeared in 54 games. Back
That's
to
not
this
many.
fucking baseball
Yeah,
thing of 300 games per season. He had a short career, only appeared in 54 games.
That's not many games.
Yeah, but...
That's about 4 seasons of NRL, right?
10 million.
That's his name, 10 million.
Yeah.
10 million?
Yeah. 10 million is a common number these days when referring to player contracts.
Yeah.
But from 1911 to 16, 10 million played a handful of minor league teams in America and Canada.
10 million, that's a great name.
Milton Bradley, like the board game.
Did he go on to make board games or?
No, it's not the same.
Different guy.
Different, yeah. This is the one I was looking for before. You can read it out for me.
Ooh. Rusty Kuntz. That's quite the name.
Oh, hang on. No, it says here, at first glance, you might think this is the most hilarious, irreverent, and maybe even unrepeatable name we've seen.
I did.
But it all gets taken back a notch as you realise, and he has clarified that it's pronounced Kuntz. So there you go.
Yeah, I was right.
That's not the oddest on this list. They've got Cannonball Titcomb.
Titcomb?
Titcomb.
Cannonball Titcomb.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Chief Bender.
That's the best one so far. Chief Bender. Tell me about Chief Bender. Who is Chief Bender?
Spending the majority of his Hall of Fame career with the Philadelphia Athletics. God, there's a lot of athletics.
Yeah, didn't we just talk about the Oakland Athletics?
Yeah. Chief Bender won...
Oh, I think the Philadelphia Athletics went to Oakland. Same team.
Confusing. Chief Bender won 212 games and retired with a solid 2.46 career ERA.
Earned runs average.
Yeah. He was inducted into the Hall of Fame by the Veterans Committee in 1953. That's Chief Bender. Pussy Tebow. Goose Gossage.
Goose Gossage. I know that name. How do I know that name? Goose Gossage.
Well, he's part of the 1978 World Series championship team for the Yankees. Pickles Dolhofer.
Pickles Dolhofer.
Dillhofer, sorry.
Dillhofer. Pickles Dillhofer.
Yeah.
That's a condiment.
Yeah.
Pickles Dill.
Pickles and Dill. And the last one's Pete Lecoq, which I've got issues with the numbering on this article.
Yeah, that's not.
Maybe they thought it was funny because it sounded a bit French.
Yeah.
Americans have a funny sense of humour.
Yeah. He would have played for the Montreal Expos.
Yeah. Look at who's talking. I just read out a list of silly names and I'm bagging someone else's sense of humour. On that note, Monsi,
Yes.
Any parting thoughts?
Yeah, write in if you know where Jacko is.
We still need to know where Jacko is. Yeah. Oi! If you see him in the street, give him one of those. I'm sure that hasn't happened for the last 40 years for him.
I wonder if he's dead.
I don't think he's dead.
Well, we'll do some research. We'll get back to you next.
I bet you we forget. But maybe, hopefully, no one else does. Farewell.
Goodbye.
I don't know what ice smells like.
Hello, my name is Piers Grove, and I'm a founder, publisher, and managing director. In March 2022, I'd just been named Managing Director of Australian Geographic and set up Scout Publishing. Then, everything changed. 404 Brain Not Found, the podcast for stroke survivors and their friends and colleagues. We explore the absurd experience and frustrating journey of stroke recovery. 404 Brain Not Found, a general experiments podcast on all podcast streamers.
My name's Stu.
I'm Rachel.
And we are fans
Obsessives might be the word.
of the 90s. The 90s. The 90s. The 90s. You can follow the podcast on your favourite podcast app. Rachel, what's the name of the show?
Swinging on the flippity flop.
Why the 90s?
Lived it.
We lived it, we were it.
Was it the best decade ever or the lamest? Let's find out.
Flippity flop.